excited to be here, guys. Thank you so much. I think that the most productive, efficient, results-based trainings are ones where they're interactive. So can we just like call a spade? I don't want to, this is definitely not about me. So the more questions you ask, the happier I will be. So let's make this really interactive. Throw out a couple things that you guys are wanting to get out of today. Amazing. Amazing. Okay, well, let me clarify a couple things. First of all, I've got 15 years of experience in the industry. I was corporate in the real estate industry before I got into sales 5 years ago. So I got into sales 5 years ago. I'm the founder of North Group. We are a Toronto-based core team that operates out of downtown. Our market center is Keller Williams Referred Urban. And we have 3 expansion locations in Niagara, Durham, and most recently Peel, Mississauga. So we're pretty excited about that. I'm standing here today and invited for this opportunity because of social media. We expanded into 2 new locations last fall, 100% because of social media. We rebranded our entire business last June to North Group, all digitally, all on social media. I got 3 referrals last week, all because of social media. I sold an exclusive listing a week and a half ago because of social media. Who thinks there's power in social media? You guys are quiet, wow. All right, so if that was not reason enough, do you think that's reason enough to say I should embrace social media?
Yes.
Yeah? Is everybody in this room on Facebook?
Yes.
Everybody? Is there anybody that's not and you're just like wondering whether you should start? So everybody is. Is everybody on Instagram?
Yes.
Okay. Is everybody on Twitter? Okay. LinkedIn?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Okay. Well, if that wasn't reason enough, we're going to talk about the 4 reasons why you must embrace social media. Really, really want you guys, like, if I say something that you're, okay, let's talk about that. Can we please make this interactive? Ask questions. You're going to get the most out of this if you ask what's going through your mind while we talk together. So the first and foremost reason why you absolutely have to be on social media is because your customers are there. Do you guys believe that? According to the National Association of Realtors in 2017, 66% of buyers were millennials. 66% of buyers were millennials. Every single millennial is on social media and is online. The majority of your business is online, so you have to be there. We have to go where our customers are. We have to sell people the way they want to be sold, which is through social media. I don't care what industry you're in. We're in the business of real estate, but we have to sell people the way they want to be sold. So social media is key. And out of the 66% of buyers, 99% of them started their property search online through a search engine. And now, of course, over the last few years, it's gotten really, really popular to search Facebook for property. It has been said in the last 6 months that Facebook is the internet. And Al, you stole my thunder by commenting that on my post. I'm just joking. I'm totally joking. Think about it. What could you possibly look for or ask or survey on Facebook that you couldn't anywhere else on the internet? Like, you can find literally everything through Facebook. There's 2 billion users on Facebook. That's crazy. It's really important that you know your audience. And if 66% of buyers are millennials and 99% of them are searching online, then we have to know that that's where we have to be. On average, it does take a couple of years, but this is what we've built up. So we made a business decision 3 years ago when we started our team that we were going to use social media as the major platform, and online and technology is the major platform to build our business. Since then, in just under 3 years, we've had over 3 million views on all of our ads. Over 150,000 people have taken action on our posts, meaning our listing posts, our videos, things like that, liked, commented, shared, etc. 64% of our social media audience are female. So it's really important to know who your audience is. I have a really funny joke I could say about that, but I won't right now. Until you guys like loosen up a little bit more. 3 years ago, I'm going to tell you now that you're laughing at me. 3 years ago, I was proud to say that I've been nominated for 2 awards as Most Innovative Agent with Inman for our video marketing. When we started video marketing, nobody was doing property video marketing. Now everybody's doing property video marketing, which is cool, and if you aren't, you should be. That's a whole other seminar and a whole other conversation. But when we started, nobody was doing it. So our videos got a lot of attention and a lot of traction in the community, in the industry, amongst realtors, amongst males between the age of 28 and 40 apparently. True story. It's like they knew I got divorced. You have to know where your audience is and you have to be relevant to them. Second reason why you have to embrace social media is because you're being checked out. Maybe not in the way you want, if you are single. Maybe not in the way you want, but you're absolutely being checked out and you may not even realize it. I guess I should change this. I'm not a PowerPoint person, sorry. I just like to just dialogue and chat. So a couple months ago, I had a past client that requested or told me they were going to put their property up for sale, that I had sold them. Been in touch with them, you know, all the client care throughout the few years that they had owned the property, personal connection. I mean, all those things. We're pretty good to follow up in our business. I sold them the house, and they called to ask me if I wanted to compete for the listing. I was like, oh boy. So I did. I competed against 2 other realtors for the listing that I had sold 3 years before, and the thing that made their final decision was they researched me, not me because they knew me. They wanted to see how powerful our online presence was. They checked out our reviews, they scoped out our Facebook page, they looked how we were running our ads, our website, everything. We got the listing, thank God. That'd be a really bad story if I didn't. But you're being checked out. Everybody's looking online, so your online presence is so, so important. The third reason is to establish your brand presence and engagement. So, I have 2 business partners in our expansion teams. Last spring, a woman reached out to me through social media, and she said, Amy, I really like what you're up to online. We've been friends on Facebook for 2 years. I didn't know who she was till that message came in. She probably sent me a friend request, saw 75 mutual friends, clicked OK, or confirm, whatever the word is. She reached out. I didn't know who she was before that moment. She said, I've been following your online presence. She's like, I'm feeling a little complacent in my business. I've been a top producer for the last number of years. I really want to take things to the next level. I don't know what that looks like. Could I buy you a coffee? A portion of how I've decided to build my business is to give back a certain percentage of my time each week to realtors that do connect, that say they want to take their business to the next level. So I said, absolutely. She was from about 45 minutes to an hour outside of where I was based, and I said, of course. Here's 2 times that work for me. Dates, blah, 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 you know our script goes. I said, this one or this one, which one works better for you? And she booked a time and she came. Fast forward 9 months later, and she's our Durham expansion partner. She came as a result of social media. She sat down and she said, I've been following your brand online. I've been following you online. I'm inspired or I'm motivated, whatever word she wanted to use. And this is not an Amy pump up session. It's you are your brand. And so she said, and then I followed your brand when you rebranded to North Group, and I watched the evolution and I watched the success of how you, using social media, you took something that was one brand and successfully created it into another without losing any momentum. And fast forward today, she's one of our business partners. November 2nd, 2017. I had a scheduled appointment with a woman who had reached out about 2 months before and said, I'd like to ask you a few questions about your marketing program, and I'd love to pick your brain about brand exposure, online marketing, and things like that. Didn't know who she was, had never met her before, searched her name, etc. Had a conversation with her on November the 2nd, That conversation led to another meeting, which led to another interview, which led to reference checks, which led to KPA. I mean, I'm not even doing the right order. Fast forward to 2 weeks ago, my new business partner from Peel, Mississauga. Now, there's been many other stories of those people that have reached out and we're not in business with them, but those two people happen to be the right fit and the right opportunity for growth, and both came as a result of social media. There's no more business versus personal when it comes to Facebook. Who in here, you're struggling with the mindset, I don't want my business and my personal life meshed on social media. I want to keep real estate, and personal. Is anybody still struggling with that? A lot of us are, absolutely. You have to get rid of that mentality, because today, in the day and age that we're in sales and marketing and social media, there is no divide. You are your brand. Yes, you can have a Facebook business page, but that's not going to be who you are. That's not going to be who your business is. That's why massive companies in think about any industry, the tech space, the car industry, since I got a flat tire on my drive here, cars are top of my mind. Fashion industry, you name it, they all have bloggers that specialize in talking about and promoting that brand, talking about why that brand, and there's a reason for that, because people want to follow people. They don't want to follow a business or a company. People want to follow people. Does that make sense? You guys are so quiet. Oh my gosh.
I have a question.
Sure, please.
So I have 2 children, so
Yeah.
they obviously are present on my personal Facebook page. Would you get rid of that though then, or would you just continue having your children on your Facebook?
You don't, for privacy reasons, do you not want your children on your Facebook page?
No, we kind of just keep it separate.
I would make a business decision whether or not you're going to go all in with social media or not, because it's the posts that I put pictures of Auntie Amy taking my nephew to the Raptors game that gets the most engagement. So that then when I go to announce our new expansion partnership, or then when I go to show something new that we've done in our business, we actually have interest and engagement.
Okay.
So the rule of thumb in social media is 4 personal posts to every 1 business post. 4 personal, 1 business. Now, I mean, I don't follow it to a T, but that's how you want to use real life, being authentic, being genuine as what's going to engage your business.
So would you suggest having both a business and a personal page, or would you just suggest having your personal page as your business page as well?
Unless you had a team and a company, and I'm sorry, I don't know if you do or not, I wouldn't have a Facebook business page.
Okay.
It has taken us until the last year. It took us almost 3 years to get our business page to the point that we have an aspect of engagement. And it's because we now do a number of things like contests and surveys, and we boost our listings, and we do a lot of targeted audience stuff. If you're just going to post, there's no point, because if you look at your analytics on that page, if you have no likes or comments or shares or follows, there is absolutely 0 point to it. Don't do it. So then just really build up your personal page and make your personal page about you and your life, and that your business is a part of who your life is. Yeah.
Because we use our business page, because you have to have a business page to do ads.
To do ads, you have to.
Yeah.
Yes. So if you are running ads, definitely. Yeah, for sure. And on our business page, I don't know if anybody follows us on North Group Real Estate, but on our business page, we get the most engagement on, number 1, really hot, beautiful listings. Everyone always says, oh my God, Amy, you guys sell the most beautiful properties. And I'm like, no, we only market the most beautiful properties. You don't see the ones that are crap that we don't do ads on or videos or anything like that. But we get the most engagement on things like that, because at the end of the day, and this is not an online lead generation class, because we did that last week. Was it last week?
Two.
Okay. Oh boy. Time flies. But anyways, but it's it's only beautiful properties and beautiful photos that actually generate leads. We have to get out of this mindset where we're like, I'm going to sell this property because I'm going to generate 40 leads for this property, because that's not what it's about. It's about just bringing in the opportunity, and then you're likely going to sell them something else. But it's those beautiful pictures or those beautiful videos that will actually capture the leads. What was your question? What did you say, Alex? Did I answer your question?
Yes.
I don't
It's
remember.
about Facebook page for advertising simply, that's about it.
Okay.
Business page.
Oh, so I know what I was going to say. Sorry, but even on our business page, if we post like a team picture, or like our the ladies yesterday for International Women's Day. I mean, anything that's like that, we get way more engagement on Facebook or on Instagram from a team photo or something that's like interactive that way than we do like just sold or just listed or anything like that. Because people like to follow people.
Do you have any standards set as far as the rest of the team goes? Like, how are you scheduling that out with everyone?
So on posts,
Yeah.
the only thing that we do as a team is that we really keep Instagram as something that we're trying to build and to make really relevant within our team and within our community. So our Facebook page is totally managed by our operations manager and marketing coordinator. Nobody touches or posts on that. That's all scheduled, content calendar, very planned out. At the end of the day, everything can be planned and structured, and then you just have to like make room for like the things that happen at the last minute, or something authentic and real that just happened during that day, and then just grab that. But on Instagram, our entire team has access to our account. So we post strategically on our wall. What's it called when it's on Instagram? Why am I feed? On your feed. We post strategically on our feed, and then we all have access to our stories. So when we're out doing showings and we're open houses, events with clients, I mean, you name it, then we're shooting videos behind the scenes, etc. Then we're everybody's doing it on our team and just creating a lot more engagement that way.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Just to clarify, the North Group has its own Instagram, or this is on your personal as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I should let me clarify that. So I apologize. I think that when you get to a certain place that you've made a business decision that this is where I'm going for the long run with my team, with my business, and you've thought with the end in mind and you're working backwards, so you know what your growth is going to look like over the next few years, and you're ready for that, then start a company Instagram and a company Facebook page. But if not, then use your personal one to build your presence and to build your engagement, because then when you go to start the other one, that's when you're going to need that following. Does that make sense?
What did that transition look like from when you went from your old name to North Group, and how did you transition that?
Our entire rebrand was done digitally.
Okay.
We had we didn't do a big party. We didn't do a big event. We actually had breakfast as a team that morning, mimosas. Some mimosas again soon. We should do that. We had a catered breakfast. We had mimosas. We had already prepped everything. So video was done. Blog posts were done. Like everything was prepped from a marketing standpoint. And then we literally just hit go and flipped everything over. But that was years of building up to having a brand presence. That was years of doing the couple things that we're going to talk about right now to increase that engagement, so that when you go to do something, it has the impact that you want it to have in the industry.
You
Alex?
did it strategically too, with some sneak peeks and some quick clips and
Yeah.
creating some mystery around.
Yeah. Build the momentum, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm just going to put this out there. You guys can throw tomatoes at me if you want to, but I absolutely would encourage you that if you are going to be strategic and build your brand presence, that you should cancel any type of automated posts that you're doing with any automated service providers. City Blast, things like that. The reason is because it's completely 150,000% canned. It's not authentic. It's like going on a date with a robot, literally. And people are not engaged with it. If you have an automated post, it doesn't mean scheduled. If you have an automated post, you can look to see you're not getting any likes or any comments on it. And if you are, you'll be the first person that I've ever met or ever talked to that actually is.
Are you referring to your personal page?
I wouldn't do it on either personally.
No.
No. And it's also be very careful because those are sales pitches and a lot of the content is outdated as well. And not only, I mean, you're also getting mixed in with all the other realtors that are doing the exact same thing, and the consumers are catching on. I'm a part of a lot of marketing and social media forums where this is a big topic of discussion, and the consumer is basically caught on. But at the end of the day, what's the point of social media if you're not generating business from it, which is the next point. The whole purpose of it, unless you just want to use it for a family photo album or whatever, and that's your prerogative, then don't mix your business in with it at all. But if you're not getting leads, if you're not generating business opportunities for yourself, what's the point? There is no point. So the canned stuff is not working, and it's caught on, the consumer's caught on, and it's actually giving the industry a bad rep. Because social media is meant to be real. It's meant to be, and that sounds crazy because it's an oxymoron because it's all social, but it's meant to be about authentic, real-time engagements and building relationships. Actually, where's my... I was going to mention this in a second, but just like this line is that the more real you can be, and you can look for, as you're looking to find your voice when it comes to social media, like how you want to portray and convey yourself online, you can look to others for inspiration. When I first started, I had no idea who I wanted to be online, like what I wanted my online presence to be. It has evolved. It has completely evolved. But if you follow me on social media now, you know I have a very specific style and way, and I've established my voice and my reputation with the consumer and in the industry. And it came as a result of being real. It came as a result of knowing that the more authentic I could be, I would be able to build more connections. Because authenticity creates connections, connections create opportunities, and opportunities create business. And that's why I chose to use social media. Yeah?
Do you post things yourself, or you have someone full-time that does this for you?
Absolutely not. It's all me. On my business page, I have a staff member, but it's very much managed by myself. Like it's.
When you get a new listing, what do you do to post yourself? What was it?
Do I post myself?
Yeah.
No.
On your
So
personal page, or?
so there. If you're going to promote a listing, are you talking about a boosted or just
Just in general.
in general? I would just think outside the box. So I'm going to share with you guys a couple of ideas and different people you can follow, different ways that you can follow, and ways that you can promote. But at the end of the day, if you just share from your business page or you just upload a bunch of pictures, it's not that exciting, right? You just start to look like another listing. So take a survey, do a poll, ask questions, say something unique about the property, ask for feedback about the property. Just do something different that everybody else is not doing if you're going to share a listing that's not boosted. To establish our brand presence and engagement, we really have to find our voice. And that's why I was saying, like, I didn't have it at the beginning, but it's evolved, and it takes time. So often we say we want to do something in our business, especially, and we just give up before we actually start to see results. We had a training session yesterday on lead generation strategies, specific just with our team, and one of the people that was there shared that when she started her door knocking strategies, she did it consistently for 8 months before she got her first listing. My hat goes off to somebody to say that. I don't know if I could have gone that long. I've never tried it. Door knocking is not my thing, but I'm going to be honest with you. 3 years ago, I didn't see results on social media that I see today. 3 referrals in 1 week. 1 listing sold last week because of it. I mean, that's not every week, but it's more the norm. It's the norm now. But it took time. It did not happen overnight, and so often we give up in any area. This can span, doesn't matter what it is we want to talk about. We give up before we're going to start to see the results. So back to establishing our voice, we have to know. I totally stopped. I think I totally stopped. Whatever. Anyways, who cares about PowerPoint? it's really important to figure out who it is that the voice that you want to have and how you want to convey yourself. So what I was saying was that if you don't know what that is, then find some inspiration and emulate it. I got 2 messages yesterday from people that said, Amy, I hope it's okay that an invitation is the most sincere form of flattery, but I just did this in my business because you did this. 2 people just yesterday. It's okay. It's okay. And it's a compliment. So if you don't have, if you're not sure about who you want to be online and how you want to have your voice, then find somebody who kind of has your style and has your way of communicating, and then just follow them and emulate some of the things that they're doing and apply them into your own business. It's so important that if you're going to use your personal page especially to start to build your brand presence and to build your engagement, if you haven't done it yet, is really, really important to make that decision and then to stick with it, knowing that you've got the business strategy is what's behind it. My family jokes with me all the time. They're like, "Oh, did you capture that? Because we can't eat dinner without," and that's bullshit. I don't take pictures of my food or anything like that. But I'm the only one in sales in my family. So I prioritized and made a decision that social media was going to be a big reason why, or a way to build my business. And so there's strategy behind implementing that personal aspect into the business. So you have to find your voice, be professional, but be fun at the same time. Be careful with how you talk, what words you use, being politically correct. That's not the platform that if you're going to start to be recognized in your community or in the industry, to be too opinionated. If that's the position you want to have, though, if you want to be known as the disruptor, for how you communicate, then go for it. But if you want to have a business professional image, then you have to start to be careful about those things. The pictures you post, be careful what you're posting when you're out, things like that. At the end of the day, the most important thing you can do is be real, guys. This is life, and this is what's happening in my life today. And not the humble brags oh my God, hustling 9 to 9, hashtag realtor life. No. Do you know how many people are hustling 9 to 9 and they don't have a hashtag realtor life? Who cares? Oh, sorry.
Did you notice that some of your posts garnered more attention if you post at a specific time, or do you just any time of day?
Personally, I'm pretty strategic, yes. So I would post around the 7 to 8 p.m. time on my personal page. And if you go back and you look at my personal page, even just in the last couple of weeks, I knew I had a huge announcement coming on Monday, February the 26th. So on Saturday, February the 24th, I posted a question to my network that I did not care at all. And don't repeat this, guys. I did not care what anybody had to say about the answer. I just said I had a long drive ahead of me that day. I was going to a meeting in Sarnia, actually. I shouldn't say that out loud because Alex is going to get mad at me. I didn't tell him I was going through London. But I was just going to a meeting in Sarnia and going straight back. And I posted a question on the road a lot tomorrow. Anybody, what great podcasts are you listening to? And frankly, I already had my 2-hour drive there, my 2-hour drive back lined up with 30-minute calls back to back to back because I really maximized my time. I didn't care what anybody had to say about the podcast, but I wanted their engagement because 48 hours later, I was about to post one of the biggest announcements in my business. And 50 people told me what podcasts I should be listening to. I didn't really care, but sometimes I do. Get lots of great book ideas, things like that. But yeah, there's strategy behind it and the times of the day, absolutely, definitely. Does that make sense? Okay, and then of course, number 4, why bother if we're not generating leads, right? So 20% of our business last year came from online lead conversions, and that was about 90% as a result of social media. So 20% of our business last year was online lead conversion, and 90% of that 20% was social media. So, 3 referrals in the last week because of social media. Kalita, tell us your story.
Okay, so
This is Kalita from North Group.
hi everyone.
Stand up.
Okay.
We have a really cool success story about social media.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Vancouver, transferred out to Toronto in December, and I'm part of the BC Realtor Corner group. And there was somebody looking for a referral for a buyer's agent in Toronto, so I messaged the lady, like, I'd love to help you out. And I told Amy, I was like, oh, I got this lead. And she's like, pick up the phone and call her. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah. So I called her, got the lead, only because she texted me back saying that I respect you a lot for picking up the phone and calling. So now I'm taking a buyer out tomorrow, $700,000 townhome in Mississauga, just because of that from Facebook. So, yeah.
You're going to get the leads, you're going to get the referrals, but don't get so caught up in the automation that you forget the personal touch of our business, right?
Yeah.
Like, we're a people business, we're a relationship business. And so, and then it happened again 3 days later, and I got tagged in the thread. There's someone who knows the downtown Toronto condo market, and I got tagged in the thread. And was, you know, awesome. We got tagged like 3 or 4 times. Meanwhile, like 2 or 3 agents that were like literally like 2 offices over from me got tagged in the exact same thread. And one of our team members who specializes in the downtown Toronto condo market, knows it like the back of his hand, happened to be sitting right beside me. And I said, here's the name of the person. We got tagged 3 times. I've reached out to them, offered our services, said we'd love to interview. Key guys, you get tagged, you get a referral, offer to interview for the opportunity to be their realtor. It speaks volumes. You're not, I know there's times where you want to assume the business, but then there's also times where you want people to know that you respect the fact that they just got, about 80 realtors just got tagged, and you'd love the opportunity to interview. And within 5 minutes, he called her, and we were already showing properties. Like 50 agents were tagged in that post. We were tagged like 3 out of the 50 times, and she said to him, "It's because you picked up the phone and called me." So let's be careful that as powerful as social media is, and the reason we do it is to generate leads, let's not forget that human relationship touch.
Well, how did you have the phone number?
Google.
Facebook.
No, it's just, it is, yeah. Facebook is an agent. You just click on the agent.
Phone numbers are everywhere.
Yeah, it's so easy. Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I think that, yeah, that both of those just happened in the last like 7 days. All right, so do you guys want to talk about 5 things to get started today so that we can get rolling in
Yes.
a next level of social media? I love you.
I'm ready to kick
I
some
love you. What's that? All right, so look at my beautiful. I'm really good at social media. I'm not really good at making PowerPoints. So, okay, how do I start? Pick your platform. It is really overwhelming, and you guys are going to be like, well, I'm already on all of those things. That's great. Amy, see all those icons? I'm on all of them. Dump all of them except for 1 or 2. Okay? Pick your platform and then master it. And I'm sorry if you're here and you're like, obviously, but some people aren't, and so I'm kind of, I obviously want to like just share what I know will work. And that's that 5 years ago when I walked out of the door of my corporate job and I said, I'm getting into real estate, I'm getting into sales, I need to do this with social media and having an online presence. And so I picked my platform and mastered it, and now that's what we're really good at. Facebook was my first decision. Twitter at the time was my second. I don't think I've tweeted since 2014. So, but now Instagram, because Facebook owns Instagram, and so the 2 of them are combined. You might be connected to me, 1 second. You might be connected to me on LinkedIn, and you've probably sent me a message potentially, and I've never replied. I do not know anything about LinkedIn. I keep my bio updated, whatever. I've chosen not to use that as my strategy to build my business. I've chosen not to use Periscope, and I don't even know what the one what's the one where there's like where everyone posts these boards? What's that? Pinterest. Not like, and they all work. They all work. Twitter works. Like all of them work. But pick your platform and then master it. And only pick 1 or 2. I would highly encourage you to do that because we get so. I remember when I first started real estate, I was like, oh my goodness, and I was so overwhelmed by just having to create content to go in all these different avenues, and it's so daunting. So, pick 1 or 2, and then get really, really good at it.
So I have Facebook and Instagram, which are the 2 that I use the most.
Yep.
I see a lot of people put the exact same post on Facebook. They put it on Instagram.
Yep.
Do you do that? Do you
Nope.
suggest to do that?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. great question. Thank you so much. And do you have a business Facebook page or personal Facebook
Well,
page?
we have a team Facebook page,
Okay.
but I just have personal that I share our business stuff on.
Okay, and are you sharing from your business page to your personal page, or are you just like uploading your own new stuff and
I share it mostly.
shared? Okay, so if you're going to build your personal Instagram following, and now Devin's going to come because she's going to come tell a great story about this. I dragged both of you guys here. Thank God too, because now we have a flat tire and somebody has to hang out with me while I get my tire fixed this afternoon. In Kitchener, is that where we are, Kitchener or Waterloo? Are we in Kitchener? Okay, we're in Kitchener. So, okay, so when you're picking your platform, as far as your posts go, try to make them different as much as you possibly can. If you're going to share from your business page to your personal page, that's okay. Just add a personal touch to it, like, hey, super excited or whatever, but remember the 4-in-1. So if you're constantly sharing and you're not mixing it in with like, hey, Jay's home opener and like cool photo and mom of the month, whatever, like I don't know, whatever it is that your hobbies are, if you're not mixing it in, then when you do go to post that listing or that new video, that new business announcement, it's going to get watered down. It's not going to get heard. So and then if you're using Instagram, you should typically, are you using Instagram for boosted ads or just to post that you've got something coming?
My Instagram, I use it for personal and.
So are you wanting ideas on what to do for your business?
No, what I was asking you is, a lot of my friends that I have on Instagram and Facebook, they put a post on Instagram, they share the exact same post to Facebook, so it's going out to both.
Yes.
Do you suggest doing that, or do you try to keep them a bit different?
Yeah, I would, if you're gonna, like, say if you're just gonna manually upload and do something engaging for a listing, I would do 2 different pictures, 2 different types of posts, survey on one, and a post on another. And then Instagram stories is actually going to be what really helps to boost your following. And Devin's gonna tell you how she's doing that with her business.
I think step 1, make your profile public. A lot of people have private, and that's just, I mean, the whole saying, don't be a secret agent, right? Like, if you're doing it to develop your business, step 1, when you just, I'm talking Instagram, like I'm mostly on Instagram, and so I got my license 6 months ago, and I was private, and I had 750 followers. I did public, and now I have about 1,050. So just in that time, geotagging is huge. So if you're taking a listing, just click on those options and tag where you are. I had an open house last week in Oak Ridges, and I had 115 viewers from Oak Ridges story. And I was featured on the Toronto story, the Oak Ridges story, Realtor. Sometimes you can hashtag that kind of stuff, and then you come up on. So then people that are just searching Toronto and they look at the Toronto story, they can see that too, what's going on in the city. Hashtags, polls are huge. You can actually see who's actually actively engaged. And then we were talking about this on the car ride. So if you don't have a ton of followers right now, it's probably really easy for you to kind of track who is actively taking those polls. And if you're saying, okay, what do you? I always do. What do you think this is listed at?
Do you guys know what we mean by polls on Instagram stories? Okay, so download the most recent version of your app. If you're going to shoot a story, one of the options that you can do after you've shot the story is take a picture at a listing, do a video at a listing, do a quick or a boomerang at a listing, and then ask a question. And then the button that you press on is poll or location, like she's saying, geotag. Like press location, and it'll tell you that you can put in your location. So I'm sure both of you have probably geotagged that you're here.
Yes.
And tagged the Kitchener Association of Realtors or whatever it is. They're going to get viewed for what they're doing right now from people in the area. So if you're doing it for real estate, how powerful is that? Or sales, or in any area, how powerful is that? Because people are going to see it. And then what Devin's talking about is that you can see on Instagram stories who's viewing and who's taking part in your results. Obviously, if they're participating in some aspect of a poll on real estate, they're engaged in real estate.
And yeah, if you're starting out having only a couple hundred followers, it'll be very easy for you to track who's actively taking those polls. And just kind of reach out to them that way.
Yeah.
But Instagram stories are huge. And this is the millennial world. People like Facebook. I do Facebook, and I don't do this often, but I will disagree with Amy that I do share everything to Facebook.
And I'll tell you why she's wrong.
Because
I follow her and I'm always watching her.
But only
It's all
because
right.
I have a much older crowd on
Yeah.
Facebook
Yeah.
versus my millennial friends on Instagram. So I have 2,000 friends on Facebook.
She better be careful.
Yeah, more mature crowd on Facebook. But I don't even know what I was going to say there. But I think with Instagram stories in the millennial age, it's kind of condensing. So people just want to see something quick. Whereas Facebook, it's more about articles and people will read a little bit more. Whereas Instagram, it's just quick, on the go. They want to see stories, they want to see what you're doing. And it's a great way to get in people's faces on those Instagram stories. And then once they start seeing you, you'll pop up first on their, if they're actively engaging on your story, you will, like, just from what the I don't even know.
The
what,
algorithm.
Thank you.
Is
it
anybody
pops
using
up on
Instagram
that.
stories at a high level to build your business? Such a huge untapped opportunity, guys. Massive. And if there's an entire room, I don't know how many people are in here because I'm terrible like gauging numbers, but if there's like 50, 100 people, I don't even know, in here, and none of you are doing it, what an awesome opportunity for you to do something unique forget about your market, in your market. It's awesome. It's so great. And Devin just hit the nail on the head because it's knowing your audience. And remember how I said that at the very beginning, how important it is to know your audience. So know if you're using Instagram stories and you're targeting the millennial demographic up to like 35, 40, whatever. I know millennial goes not that high, but up to like say, age 40 or something. Everybody's watching it. They're flipping through it. They're watching, and the more you post, the more you're going to automatically get in the feed. Instagram is like it's an entire own class session, whatever. Yes.
So that was my question. Why are millennials on Facebook? They're not really. They're letting Facebook on Instagram. Is that correct?
They are on Facebook from a search perspective, like they're flipping through their feed really fast, but they're more on Instagram, and that's why Instagram feeds are now allowing like sponsored ads and things like that. So it's just that's how, but the way Instagram and Facebook work together, you can set it up on Facebook, it pushes through to Instagram, then when they click on your lead capture, whatever program you're using, it comes through the same way as if it had come from Facebook.
So what is? Give me the history on that.
Oh gosh, that's where you need my operations manager here, not me.
Instagram existed before Facebook purchased it, or?
It did, yeah. It did,
So then-
not to the level that it is now, but
Facebook or Google or engage Instagram to make it more of a business platform that they can feed into. Is that correct?
yes, correct. Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Facebook has a older age demographic, so you're looking more 40, 50, 60, 70,
Yep.
a lot older.
Yep.
Whereas the millennials, the younger generation, so 20, 30, up to 40, they're using Instagram. They typically don't use Facebook. That's old school now. So it kind of, that's why it's different.
Well, everybody I
So
talk to,
Facebook,
was
so
on
our
very out,
things
so
are
I'm surprised that you're still embracing it.
No, absolutely, because of the generation. So there's a whole lot of business to be targeted for 40 and over. So, but I agree with you completely. Yes.
So how would you respond if, say you're putting the poll out there, but you're not getting a lot of response?
So what I would do personally, if I was just getting started and I wanted to build my following and my presence on Instagram, I would do things like that, stories. I would use stories and I would do polls, geotagging, all that kind of stuff. And then I would click to see who's answering my survey, my poll, and then I would click on their profile and either follow them to kind of give the honor, if you will, of the follow back, or I would click and like one of their pictures or comment or whatever, and then I would just see, at the end of the day, if you don't know them and you're not, and there's no engagement after that, it will be harder to track for sure. But if you see there's consistency with somebody who's responding to your polls, then reach out to them, send them a private message on Instagram. It happens all the time. I get solicited for business on Instagram all the time. Or just like, hey, can we grab a coffee? I'd love to pick your brain on this. Or, hey, I have a service. I think you should look at it for your business. So if they're engaged with you, I wouldn't be ashamed at all. We're in the lead generation business, right? I wouldn't be ashamed at all to just reach out and be like, hey, I noticed that you're participating in a lot of our polls. quick question, are you just casually looking or are you planning to buy pretty soon? Best script ever, guys. Write it down. Quick question, are you just casually looking or are you planning to buy pretty soon? You can use it with everything. Everything. Somebody else just had their hand up and no, we're good. Okay. So pick your platform, narrow your focus. When you narrow your focus, you increase your results. So pick the one or two that you're going to get really, really good at, and then just go for it. Grow your following. So we want to make sure that we're not creepy, but we add and follow as many people as we possibly can. So if you are at a networking event and you meet people, like I was at a networking event on, what day was it? Monday something. Tuesday. What day is today? I don't know. Okay, so on Tuesday, and I connected with like 3 or 4 people that I had really good conversations with. I connected with them on social media afterwards. Would I show somebody a property for the first time, didn't really get a chance to build rapport and then add them on Facebook? Probably not. But I would maybe follow them on Instagram, or I would just at least check them out. Maybe the next time, once it's a client, absolutely, add friend. Because I'm using Facebook to build my business. I'm using Instagram to build my business. But if you're not, then don't. Just be careful that it's like not borderline creepy. Just make sure it's the right time. Does that make sense? You have to put in the work. Like, you have to reach out to these people. They're not going to friend you. They're not just going to all of a sudden think to friend you, especially if you're being strategic about it. So if you're being strategic about using social media to build your business, then be strategic to build your platform, to grow your platform. All right. Well, then you got to start posting and engaging. I mean, we've had a couple of examples, but and we've kind of mixed this in, but whether it's videos or asking questions or taking surveys or doing quick behind the scenes shots or posting lives or anything like that, from a business perspective, mix that in with your real life. That's all you have to do. It's not hard, but it takes time to build that following and to build that engagement. And the more you engage with other people, the more they're going to engage with you. And yes?
I've found now that a lot of the Instagram accounts are really curated, so how are we supposed to continue with everything is pretty, everything is beautiful, and how do we keep that authenticity without being too perfect?
I think your question could go one of two ways, so I'm not 100% sure. I want to make sure I answer quickly. So are you asking, like, how do you do that without seeming automated, or like a bot's responding? Because I have bots who reply on my stuff, and I'm like, whatever. But how do you engage like an authentic following, or?
Well, because there's so many of like the people that are out there, everything looks perfect, like that coffee mug with the breakfast or whatever. Like they have like.
Yeah, and then throw that in with like the next post is like you just coming out of the gym with your hair up and your baby, and I mean I don't know. I'm just using it as an example, right? But like real life. Like the number one post, or the posts that I post that have the most engagement are the ones, ask Alex, the ones where I'm the most raw, the most unplugged, the most vulnerable, and I'm like, this is real life. Because everybody thinks that it's so glamorous to be in the top 10 teams in Keller Williams Canada. Nobody knows the behind the scenes. Nobody knows the sacrifice, the grind, what you've gone through, the business partnership splits that almost break you. When your top agent leaves your team and goes into business with the client that you introduced them to. Nobody knows that. So be real, be raw, be unplugged. The more authentic, you guys see how connected you are to me right now? This room is like just like electric right now because I'm bearing my soul to you. Be like that. Be like that on social media. Not all the time, not every day, not every post, but once in a while, yeah, because then everyone's going to be like, oh my God, what a shit show. Shitty therapy. But once every few months, rock your world, because you want to know what? They all think you make a ton of money and you have this amazing life and like, love my life, # love realtor life, like, that's that's the perception that's out there. So be real.
So there'll be a post of you fixing your tire then, right?
Darn straight.
You mean us fixing her tire?
If I'm not like, probably not, because there's gonna be too many F words. Just joking. Yes, yes.
Go ahead.
Okay, sorry.
No. I was just gonna ask, so like, say you have a listing, you post whatever, and a client, potential person's like, oh, asking you questions. What is your take on, like, everyone uses emojis? What is your take on using those when you work?
So, does anybody in here know what Curator is? A few people? Curator is probably the most progressive marketing platform right now in the industry. We started with them 3 years ago when they were brand new. They are the authority, I think. Chris Smith and Jimmy Mackin, like the founders, and I'm gonna suggest that you start following them shortly. And I know it's almost 2 o'clock. I'm gonna wrap up. Sorry. 3 years ago, when we first started our posting of our listings and some of our emails and stuff like that, we were using emojis, and they bashed using emojis. They were like, it's for this reason and that reason, and it's juvenile and this and whatever. Last conference, last year, use emojis. And I'm so proud of that because that was like something that we were doing that was like actually ahead of the curve. Absolutely use emojis. They denote emotion. That's the purpose of them. And they are so relevant in today. We use them in our emails, we use them in our ads and our posts. And it's absolutely where it's at now. Is it going to evolve in a year, 6 months? Probably. But right now, emojis are where it's at. Definitely. Oh, I was going to say, I think I have yeah, definitely. One of the things I think is the most important is to always make sure that whatever you're posting is adding value in some sort. So you want to establish yourself as a leader and as an expert. So if you have to really, I've done a lot of video marketing. I've done a lot of marketing that way, but I'm always really prepared for it. So I sound like, I come off like I know what I'm talking about, this, that, and whatever. I have a fear of live. And I haven't really embraced it yet because I haven't started. I have a fear of like not not coming across eloquent enough or saying the wrong thing or things like that. And I was like that when it came with video marketing until I finally realized like my perfectionism is hindering my progress. And video, once I got rid of my perfectionism and just went for it, and then everyone that I started doing after that, they just keep getting better and getting easier. I need to do the same thing with live. But if you're nervous to get started, then I said all that to say this. If you're nervous to get started or you're not sure where to add the value, then number one, look outside of your own circle for inspiration and ideas and then emulate them. And then number two, just be super, super planned. Like there's nothing wrong with planning content. It's the engagement that has to be authentic and real and timely. Does that make sense? Market stats, market knowledge, introducing other connections, things like that. A friend of mine, actually, they used to be in the Kitchener-Waterloo area. They have a big company that I really support. They had a job announcement yesterday, so yesterday I posted it, and it got, a bunch of comments and likes. So things like that, where you can just be supportive of what other people are doing too, and then mixing that in with personal, with business, things like that. Establish yourself as an influencer. Like if you want to be the person in your community, in your network, in the industry. For me, social media started with wanting to have influence in the industry before I even wanted to impact my community or my network. And so think about the content that you could be putting out with that, like any kind of aspect of what's motivating you, leadership-based content, anything that would inspire other people that are in your sphere that are business or sales based. And I think I already mentioned this, like let's do away with the humble brags because they're really annoying and everybody hates them. So no more humble brags. As I'm wrapping up, I'm just going to mention this. We said 5 things. So 5 things to do to get started. Number 1, pick your platform. Number 2, grow your following. Number 3, start posting and engaging. Just do it. Don't think too hard about it. Just start. And then number 4, post consistently. Not like a million times a day, but consistently. And you can time block that. You don't have to just ad hoc post until you get more comfortable with it. I've taken a ton of courses on marketing and social media, and they say that until you get really comfortable with the way posting should just be naturally, then to schedule it and to pre-plan it and to plan out your week. Because if not, social media can become a time suck, and that takes us away from what we're ultimately supposed to be doing with our business until it's built to the point that it's generating leads. And then last but not least, guys, absolutely stick with it. It's in the consistency and in the patience that you will start to see results. It doesn't happen overnight. So, follow these people. At Lucky to Live Here, an awesome small boutique real estate company. I forget where they are in the States. I met them last fall. They're really doing Instagram at an amazing level, both Instagram and stories. So if you are thinking about starting stories, definitely follow them. Devin, what's yours?
Devo, it's a DEEVOMH.
At DEEVOMH. Follow Devin. She's doing awesome. I should have put you up here. At Christy Kiff. She's our Durham expansion team, doing an amazing job with Instagram. At Corey Harding Keys. At Knowledge Broker. This is somebody new that I've been following for the last few months. He doesn't follow my model of 4-in-1. Instagram can kind of change that a little bit. Instagram's a little bit easier to do more business, more like a 2-in-4 instead of a 1-in-4. His is very, very business-based, but you can see from his title that he wants his followers to know I'm in real estate. Whereas I want my followers to just follow because they're engaged with my life. I have a bigger plan and a bigger vision around what I'm using Instagram for than just real estate. Does that make sense? So my handle is just my name, whereas he is being very specific, and I don't, and credit to him, and I would follow him if I was you. And he's using it at a very high level, from video, stories, things like that, listings, coming soons, knowledge that he's putting out of his market in the space. And then Chris Smith, he's the co-founder of Curator. I was just talking about him. He's the author of The Conversion Code. If you are looking at taking Facebook lead generation to the next level, to convert those leads, definitely read The Conversion Code. Has anybody here read it other than Alex? A couple people? Absolutely buy that book, you guys. It's awesome. And last but not least, here am I. I better get at least one follower from today. I'm just joking. Yeah, we'd love to connect with you at North Group Real Estate. So you're welcome to see what we're up to with our business. Any questions, just DM me an email, amy@northgroup.com. More than happy to answer any of your questions. It's hard to deep dive in an hour. It's really hard. So I'm happy to, if you have a very specific question about something you want to use for your business, taking one of these points and running with it, then I'm more than happy to answer those questions.
We have another 4 hours.
Oh, amazing.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, do you mind if I just call CA first while I'm waiting? So, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.